Yes, I agree with you.
Some time ago, the people of Bukit Tinggi were shocked by the discovery of a baby's body found in a buses near Marasiana. After investigation, the perpetrator was a 21-year-old woman who had just given birth to a baby from an out of wedlock relationship. She poured water on the baby until it died, then threw it into a ravine behind her house. This case is not just about crime, it's about losing one's direction, about how the wrong idea of freedom can lead to something this tragic. Sometimes we think love can justify everything, but without responsibility, love can turn into something cruel. And today, we're going to talk about the other side of all this, about free relationships, premarital pregnancy, and sexual harassment. Alright, I'm here with 4 of my friends. Coming, guys. Please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello guys, my name is Arana Julian Chandra.
My name is Chandra Hasnani. My name is Melin Kamala. My name is Kamalia Putri.
Now let's start. I want us to talk honestly, without blaming each other, but also without closing our eyes to reality. The first question is, nowadays free relationships seem to be considered normal by many people. Why do you think something that highly risky can be normalized like this?
In my opinion, criticism is very normal today. The world has changed. People are more open and everything has to be considered taboo. As long as both people are aware and activity is very right. Sorry, Ikal, but I disagree with your opinions. Honestly, I think people just don't get it. They totally start understanding about what it's modern and freedom actually mean. Like, come on, not everything from Western culture it fits in us here in Indonesia. We have our own rules, our own morals, our own faith. So please stop copying like Western movies, K-drama, kissing and living together and stuff like that. That's not modern. That's just losing your boundaries. And the sad part is social media and shows make it look cool, like, oh, everyone is doing it, it's fine. But they never saw the ugly side, the regret side, the broken futures, the ruined lives. That's why so many people lose direction. Some even get pregnant outside marriage. It's heartbreaking, I think.
But, Yatri, honestly, it's super complex. First off, internet access expert use the more regular outside cultures, but without any filter or guidance. Second, there's a lack of comprehensive sex education in school and at home. Our parents often consider it taboo to talk about this stuff, so we ended up learning from friends or the internet, which is always reliable. Then, there are the whole social media things, which is honestly the bigger factor. We see relationships that look perfect, unrealistic expectation and pressure to go with the flow. Plus, their glorification of physical relationship in movie, music, and even content creator. So, it seems like it's totally normal and consequence free. But I don't think all free relationships are bad. What's problematic is socializing without any boundaries and without understanding the risk.
You Muslim, right?
Yeah.
In Al-Quran, Allah said, do not go near adultery, indeed it's an abomination and enemy. It's Quran Surah Al-Isra 32. Allah said, in the Bible, Jesus said too, you have heard it was said, do not commit adultery, but I tell you that anyone who even looks with lust has already committed adultery in his heart. Matthew 5:27. with you.
Yeah.
That's so stupid. Your opinion is so stupid. Like is relationship is normal. Like
No,
it's
but
stupid. Your mindset is stupid.
it's not stupid, but
Calm guys, calm guys. So even they believes it's fine as long as their responsibility. But Lynette and Yantri think it's still too risky, right? Okay. Next up, the word freedom is often misunderstood today. In your opinion, when does freedom turn into foolishness? Do today's teenagers really understand what freedom is, or are they just using it as an excuse to do wrong things? Let's start from opposite side.
Okay, I'd say when those freedom turn into foolishness, when certain people think freedom is to no rules at all, you know the type, it's my life, I can do whatever I want. Yeah, well, every action is taken with every consequences. Like you plant a seed, you grow the tree, good or bad, that's on you. If your person is freedom doing whatever feels good without caring what's right or wrong, that's not freedom, that's foolishness. Use your freedom to grow, to speak up, not to destroy yourself. That's all for me.
yeah.
Next one.
Freedom turns into foolishness when someone can't help. But good for them anymore. Many teenagers misunderstand. They think being fair means doing whatever they want, following every impulse. But real freedom isn't about doing everything. It's about knowing when to stop and choosing what's right even when it's hard. Freedom without responsibility is just chaos.
Okay. I agree that freedom is important for student development, but freedom becomes foolishness when we doing something without thinking about the long-term consequence. Example, dating is normal, but if it leads to unprotected sex without understanding the risks of pregnancy, disease, or physiological trauma, that's crossing into foolish territory. The problem is many teens nowadays only know the fun part without understanding there are price to pay. We are given access to freedom, but not the instruction manual. School education only teach reproductive biology, not concern, emotional readiness, or social and physiological consequence. So, it's not that teens don't understand freedom. They are just not taught how to use that freedom wisely.
Freedom becomes foolish when adults, but if you know your limit and are prepared to take responsibility, it's part of the learning process.
That's a solid point. Next, I want to ask you guys about they say it is all because of love. But if it's really love, why does someone have to get hurt? Even to the point of throwing away their own child. Do you think teenagers today can still tell the difference between love and lust? Or is it all just curiosity disguised as love?
Honestly, this is disease, but for me, they say it's love. But real love protects. It doesn't destroy. If the girl truly loves her, voluntarily get her pregnant and then leave. And if the girl truly loves her baby, how could she bring herself to kill it? That's not love, that's lust offered in sweet world. Love so makes you better, not break you apart, it's painful. To see how many people confuse temporary pleasure with your affection. Yeah, I agree with you, so agree, 100%. Love over blues. Let's be real, if he truly loves you, right? He will never touch you before marriage. Do you guys agree? No.
Eh, mama!
Aja, nanti
Oh my
He truly loves you. He won't catch you before married. Real love is protect, right? Yeah. It doesn't destroy yourself. Think about it. If you have something precious, you will take care of it, right? You don't drink it. But no, people mix up love with lust all the time. They say, "Oh, I love him. I'll do anything for him as long as he stay with me." Nah, that's not true love. That's stupid. That's obsession. Attraction, it's pure. It's natural, sure. But if you don't counter it with faith or self-respect, it turns into sin. So yeah, love is not problem. The problem is you are when you lose direction, I think. Next.
Yeah. This is the most commonly misunderstood things. Most teenagers, myself included, don't fully understand the difference between love and lust yet. At your age, hormones are rising, so sometimes what we think is love is actually a combination of physical attraction, need for validation, and curiosity. Cases like the one in Bukit Tinggi, I don't think that's about love at all. That lust disguised as love. Plus, mental and moral unpreparedness. Someone who truly love wouldn't be capable of killing their own child. That's desperate act from someone panicking because they weren't ready for responsibility.
Love and lust are different, but sometimes they go hand in hand. They're not found in that. As part of the growing process, the important thing is to maintain mutual respect and understand the consequences.
Both sides have a valid point. Love can be beautiful, but also dangerous when mixed with immaturity. Let's switch to another question. If someone dares to do something that could lead to such a fatal consequence, that means they are aware of the risk, right? Then, why do so many still do it without thinking about the impact?
I think is the mindset is broken, truly broken. They think it's fine. They won't happen to me. Like really, the devastating mindset ever. You're not special. You're not immune. If you know it's wrong and still do it, that's not bravery. That's stupidity. Straight up. They actually know there is, but still do it because they think no one will fit all. Sometimes it's because of their sanity or just chasing short-term pleasure. They don't realize how one small mistake can change their whole living. Easy to say it just once, that once can lead to regret that lasts forever. Because sometimes people are still reckless of curiosity. As long as they're aware of the risk and protect themselves, it's their choice.
Okay guys, for your information, this is a physiological phenomenon called optimism bias or invisibility bubble. Teens tend to think that's what happened to me. We all hear stories about unwanted pregnancy, but the talk is, nah, I'm different, I'm more careful. City. Then, there are also temporal discounting. The teenager brain focus more on short-term rewards, pleasure, that long-term risk, pregnancy, shame, trauma. Our brains literally aren't fully developed yet in the decision-making and impulse control areas. That's a neurological fact.
Yeah, maybe they think it won't happen to them. Okay, next. Do you think friendship circles or social environment influence how someone behaves in relationships?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely yes. 100%. You hang around people who lives recklessly and before you know it, you will start thinking it's normal too. In philosophy, Aristotle once said, human is social being. You can live alone, your environment saves you. You can live alone, your environment saves you. If you're surrounded by toxic people, you will become one. If you're surrounded by good people, you will become one. So yeah, pick your circle wisely, guys. Just friends who will not push you down. Just friends who push you forward, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, environment matter a lot. If your friends are positive, you'll be influenced in a good way. But if your circle is too free, it's hard to resist. Peer pressure is real when everyone around you is doing it. Saying no becomes harder. That's why it's super important to choose a healthy environment. One that causes you to grow, not one that drags you down.
In my opinion, 100% hugely influential. During teenager years, peer influence is sometimes stronger than parental influence. If your friend circle normalizes risky behavior, like talking about sexual experience as achievement, mocking people who are still innocent, or peer pressure like, if you don't do this, you are behind the times. That's going to heavily shape your perception of what's normal. On the flip side, if you have friends who are supportive, remind each other about boundaries, and do positive activities together, that's become a stronger protection factor. What's dangerous is the echo chamber. If all your friends have the same mindset, whether too liberal or too judgmental, you don't get other perspective. That's why it's super important to have a diverse but still positive circle.
Yeah, the environment is persistent, but it comes back to the individual. If you can think for yourself, you won't be easily carried away by the current.
Good thoughts, everyone. Now let's move on to the next question. Many victims of harassment or unplanned pregnancy fall into depression, burnout, or deep trauma. But sometimes society seems more focused on judging them than helping them recover. Why do you think people's empathy toward victims is still so low?
Society is too quick to judge, yet sometimes the only people they can empathy are those who are honest with themselves. They should be more open, not labeling physical aspect.
This really frustrates me. Victim blaming in Indonesia is still incredibly strong, especially for girls. Society prefers to judge rather than understand the context. Some reason why empathy is lacking: one, same or disgrace culture, and two, gender double standard. Girls will get pregnant out of wedlock or labeled dead, but the guy often get off free or are even considered manly. 3. Lack of trauma understanding. 4. Gossip culture. People are more excited to talk about other scandal than think about how to help them. And 5. It's your own fault mindset.
Yeah, people love to judge, but they not want to help. In Islam, teach us to cover some faults, not equals them. There's even hadith says, whoever covers Muslim faults, Allah will cover his fault in this world and the hereafter. So instead of saying people, why not we greet them, right? They already made a mistake. They don't need your help. They need your guidance. I think society often forgets that victims are human too. They've already fallen, yet people keep pushing them down instead of helping them get up. They need support to recover, not constant judgment.
Speaking of that, how can they rise again after being labeled negatively by society? How can they rebuild their confidence? Is it still possible for victims to be accepted again?
Rise again, as long as they're willing to change, it's required to be positively ostracized. Yeah, I agree with you.
This is how I want life. but it's not impossible. For the victim themselves, psychological therapy is crucial. Trauma won't go away on its own. Find an non-judgmental support system, help be close friends, counselors, or support community. Self-forgiveness is the hardest part. You have to be able to forgive yourself. Then, focus on recovery and the future, not staying stuck in the past.
Yeah. You should look the future and learn from the past, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's true, yeah. But not impossible as long as they want to change and have people who support them. They can definitely risk again. Everyone deserves a second chance.
Yeah, I agree.
That's inspiring. Everyone deserves a second chance. Now, let's talk about something related to freedom. What do you think is the ideal limit of freedom for teenagers? Many people say freedom is important for gaining life experience.
What's your ideal limit of freedom for kids? Freedoms and where you pay. Your morals and your responsibilities begin. Go express yourself. Chase your dreams. Grow your skills. That's fine, but don't cross the line. Instead of wasting time in meaningless relationships, you should focus on things that actually make you grow, make you proud, like study, explore your hobbies, work on your future, be the version of yourself that your parents, your family, and you can be proud of. The ideal limit of freedom is when you still know what's right and don't harm yourself. You can be free, but you still need to know your boundaries and respect the norm. The limit of freedom for us long as it doesn't harm others. Everyone has their own way of living their life, and it's okay as long as they're free of the consequences.
That is the million-dollar question. In my opinion, that freedom must be accompanied by three things. 1. Comprehensive education. 2. Clear but flexible boundaries. And 3. Accountability.
Talking about freedom also reminds us of responsibility. So, our last question is, what can we do to prevent things like this from happening again?
Yeah, I think first we need stronger morals and religious education. Kids should know from an early age what's wrong and right. Second, parents. Parenting is special part, the important part of child's knowledge. You have to be close to your kid. Don't just control them. You should teach them, love them, and greet them, especially about relationship and sexuality. And third, media and society need to stop glorifying the wrong things. You don't need to copy TikTok trends like Western dating culture. Just focus on being a good human and a good child and good body variety. Next, I think it all comes back to education and self-awareness. Parents should be more open about teaching responsibility, not just giving as direction. And we, as teenagers, need to think ahead before doing something. Yes, it's right. To prevent fatal incidents, what needed is prohibition, but education and enhanced communication. Parents should be able to talk openly about sex and relationship, not limit them.
For me, this meant education for all twenties. For individual, self-education. Don't just wait to be told. Actively seek information from trusted sources. Choose your circle wisely. For families, open communication. Parents need to be a safe place to confide, not a sort of judgment. Sex education from home. Don't make it taboo, but don't be vulgar either. teach properly, and age proportionally. Quality time. Many teens run to risky social circle because they lack attention from parents.
Every story has a lesson. And today's remind us how fragile life can be when love and freedom losing their meaning. Let's not judge, but learn, reflect, and grow. Because change starts from awareness and awareness starts from us.